All right, so you've put in the work, you've built this awesome all-in-one AI agent, but you're starting to hit a wall, right? Today, we're going to talk about how to move beyond that one solo agent and build it a powerful support team.
I mean, think about it. Your solo agent is probably a rock star at juggling your calendar, zipping through articles, and drafting emails. But when you try to make it a jack of all trades, well, it can end up being a master of none. Even the best single agent can become a bottleneck. And let's be honest, some jobs just need a specialist. Okay, so let's dive into this. This is where we shift our thinking, right? We're not just an AI user anymore, we're becoming an AI manager. And drawing from our source material in the OpenClaw course, we have two really solid strategies for putting together our A-team. The whole idea is actually pulled straight from how you'd build a team in the real world. It's super simple, really. You can either bring in some temp help for specific jobs, or you can hire full-time specialists for the long haul. And this slide just lays it out perfectly. On the one hand, you have sub-agents. Seriously, just think of them as temporary contractors or gig workers you spin up for one specific job. They do the work, and then they're gone. On the other hand, you have your named agents. These are your full-time specialists, the ones with their own little corner office in the system, complete with their own memory and expertise. All right, let's kick things off with the contractors, the sub-agents. These are your go-to guys when you need to hit a bunch of parallel tasks at once. You know, when you just need to get a lot done, like right now. And this is the absolute key thing to remember about subagents. They're basically disposable. They pop into existence for one single task, they do their job, and poof, they're gone. This keeps your entire operation super clean and super focused. So how do you actually hire these contractors? Well, you've got two management styles. You can go with automatic mode, where your main agent is smart enough to see when work can be split up and just spawns helpers on its own, or you can jump into the driver's seat with manual mode, where you get to handpick the right model for a specific job, just like a great project manager. And if you're wondering why you'd even bother with all this, well, this chart says it all. It's about raw, unfiltered speed. Look at that difference. Trying to research 5 things one after another takes forever, but give that job to 5 subagents at the same time, boom, you get it done in a fraction of the time. And get this, you're not just throwing tasks into the void and hoping for the best. This is not fire and forget. You get a whole supervisor's dashboard. You can see who's working, check their progress logs, ping them with a message if they need a little nudge. You can even focus in and watch them think in real time. It's literally like standing right over their shoulder. Okay, so we've covered the temps. Now let's talk about hiring your full-time specialists. These are your named agents. And these are a completely different beast. They're the persistent, expert members of your team that you build for the long game. Yeah, persistence is the magic word here. A named agent isn't just a temporary worker. It has its own digital office, you know? It has its own memory, its own conversation history. It's designed for that deep-seated expertise, whether you need a brilliant creative writer or a super organized assistant for all your work stuff. And here's how that delegation workflow actually plays out. It's pretty slick. Your main agent, the generalist, kind of acts like a project manager or a quarterback. It gets a complex task from you, realizes, hey, this needs an expert, and then passes it off to the right specialist. The specialist goes deep, does its thing, and then hands the finished work right back. Simple and powerful. Now, this is absolutely crucial for safety and just, keeping things from getting chaotic. These agents don't just hang out and chat all day. By default, they're completely isolated from each other. You are the manager. You draw the org chart and decide exactly who is allowed to talk to whom. Total control. All right, so we've got our toolbox. Temporary contractors on one side, full-time specialists on the other. This brings us to the big question, right? When do you use which one? Let's open up the playbook. And this table just lays it all out beautifully. Here's the cheat sheet. Use subagents, the contractors, when you need to blast through a bunch of independent tasks really fast, or maybe you want to use cheaper models for the grunt work. You bring in a named agent, your specialist, when you need that deep expertise, that memory, that persistent context. Or, and this is a big one, when you need to build a solid wall between different parts of your life, like work versus personal. But hold on, before you go off and design this massive 20-agent corporation in your head, the source material gives us a really, really important piece of advice. Master one agent first. Get truly comfortable with it. You shouldn't build a specialist to solve a problem you imagine you might have. You build one to solve a real gap, a real bottleneck that you've actually run into. And there you have it. That's the game plan for leveling up from a single AI sidekick to the manager of a whole powerhouse team. You've got the playbook, you know the difference between a contractor and a full-time specialist. So the question I'll leave you with is, what's the very first specialist your A-team really needs?